Cheers.
Woo!
Here we
Boom!
are.
Boom! Here we are. Cheers, 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 Mira Boucher. Good
Cheers, Charles.
evening. Good evening. How about you think? You like it?
I love it. Nice
Yeah?
hat.
There
Yes.
you go.
Looking
Thank you.
good.
Thank you. And you know what I forgot?
What's that?
With all my stuff, I don't have my glasses. So I'm
Ooh,
going blind.
that's okay. I'll tell you
Yeah,
there's comments on there. I hope
that's all
somebody
good. No
fails.
worries. No worries. I guess I don't need to see a whole lot of thing. What I need to do, I need to talk and I need to taste, right? So
Yeah.
here we are. Good evening, Sunday. It is day 11 of our Carl Cellar Spotlight. Woo, what a stretch, you guys. Oh my.
Awesome.
11 days in a row. Wow, wow, wow. We had so many great conversations. Today, we are talking Hillside Winery out of the Naramata Bench, the very famous Naramata Bench. So, uh, really, really cool story behind the whole operation at Hillside. Unfortunately, it's Sunday. Come on, you don't ask a veteran winemaker, someone who've been like making wine in the Okanagan for more like for longer than pretty much anyone else to come on a Sunday night. So I didn't even ask Catchy to show up. Come on, just by respect. I thought that I have enough experience with Hillside that I can cover a 30-minute little like presentation here. And guess what, you all? I have the best business partner in the whole world. And while I was watching my Ravens getting ass kicked by the Steelers, one of the most painful freaking thing in the world, my business partner was doing research on Hillside, putting some beautiful fact together. So I'm blessed. Uh, Hindsight, I should have done more research instead of watching
Oh
that
no.
crappy game.
Get
But
out of
anyhow,
town. Well, you did the
hope
research,
everyone who's
but
watching had a
you
great
tasted
time.
all you tasted all the wines, so you did our tasting notes, so you know all about this winery.
I
I just
do.
researched, you know, what what makes the Naramata terroir so special, things like that. So I'm happy to share that in just a sec.
Yeah, no, that would be great because we were there on Wednesday. We were there this week. We met with Oleg, who's the owner at Moraine, actually just right across the street, 500 meters from Hillside. We had a nice conversation with him and some pretty cool stuff. And in terms of the bench, it's to me one of the best prime example, one of the top example of terroir from anywhere in Canada. Like you can't compare that like from the Beamsville Bench in Ontario. You can compare like these. It's a very unique, really very specific, small area where winemakers and winery can. That's when we talk about vineyard typicity. That's when we talk about terroir. That's the real freaking definition of terroir, and that's what Hillside Estate are is like. That's what they do, and and there's nothing wrong like to go outside of the bench to make your wine more complementary into your portfolio. Some wineries decide to do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But Hillside have been pretty much forever have been Naramata Bench raised and grown, and 100% of their grapes are coming from the bench. So it's pretty cool. We're going to talk about the whole thing. So we want to say hi to Ken.
He's saying
Uh,
sorry. Yes, Big Ben had one good game left.
yeah, but obviously it would have been against like it has to be against us. And guess what? We're seeing them again last game of the year on week 18. So anyhow, disappointing because we led almost all the games. So anyway, let's not talk. Or unless your team was playing today, anyone who's listening, if you're a football fan, if you had a Sunday football, your team was playing, put in the chat box who's your team, because maybe one day we can do a football wine kind of a live or something like that. That would be fun. But tonight we are live here. C'est un beau bonjour à tout le monde en français. On voulait dire un beau bonjour à tous nos amateurs de vin francophones. J'étais en train de me plaindre de la performance horrible de mes Ravens qui ont perdu contre les Steelers. La game vient juste de se finir. J'essaie de garder un petit sourire. Et voilà. Donc, un beau bonjour à tout le monde. Les gens du Québec, les gens du Nouveau-Brunswick, les gens de la région de Winnipeg, les gens des Maritimes, partout au Canada, nos amateurs de vin francophone, un beau bonjour à tout le monde. Merci de nous suivre. C'est la 11e journée consécutive qu'on est en direct pour vous parler de un de nos producteurs. C'est la lumière, le spotlight aujourd'hui. Notre feature producteur, c'est Hillside Winery du Naramata Bench. Donc oui, on va parler du bench, on va parler du terroir du bench, on va parler de Hillside, on va parler de l'histoire derrière le bench. Petra, la propriétaire qui est partie dans le temps, qui était une des premières, une Européenne de l'Est qui avait pu acheter une petite propriété sur le Naramata Bench et maintenant est devenue un staple, un icon, non, anglais. J'essaie de chercher en français le mot
a beacon. Yes, I know what you mean.
Un icône? Non, pas un icône. Anyway, si vous connaissez un peu l'anglais, vous savez ce que je veux dire. Un icon, or whatever it is. So, qu'est-ce qu'on va parler ce soir? Mira a fait des recherches. On n'a pas personne du vignoble. C'est dimanche soir. On ne voulait pas en demander trop au monde qui sont avec nous autres. Donc, ce soir, on va parler du Narabata Bench. On va parler de Hillside. On va aussi parler de Cabernet Franc. Une petite récapitulation de ce qu'on a fait hier, notre journée nationale du Cabernet Franc. Et aussi, on va parler de mercredi parce qu'on change la cédule de cette semaine qui s'en vient. On va faire un petit changement. On va commencer notre dernière offre de l'année mercredi pour la finir lundi. Parce que restez à l'écoute, on va avoir quelque chose de spectaculaire qui s'en vient mercredi. So yeah.
So we got to start with this, which is...
It's hot in there. It's hot. Jesus, Mary.
Oh, yeah. Woo. Well, it's because of your hat. That hat doesn't help you. So here we are. There's our boy Gabby, Hillside Winery. But where is this? So I don't know. Put in the comments if you've been to the Naramata Bench. And if you have or you haven't, I'll take you on a quick zoom in, okay? So this is Kathy Malone. She's the Hillside winemaker. She wrote this awesome little series about what makes the Naramata Bench so special. Oh, Joanne and Elaine went there in June on vacation. That's awesome, John. So you see there, that's BC. You can see Vancouver Island. You can see Vancouver. And if you look at that green area, that's the Okanagan Valley. That's where we're heading. And when you get to the Okanagan Valley, you have Penticton. And you'll see that grayish zone above Penticton on that map is the Narabata Bench. It's about 20 kilometers. And it looks freaking spectacular. Look at this. So you have this bluff, like steep ravine that goes down to the lake. And then you have these beautiful vineyards along the top of it. And like... How scenic is that? When you're driving through the Naramata Bench, that's what got me to fall in love with vineyards. Truly, like it's so beautiful. And then Hillside has been there since '84. So they have a prime spot of land right there. And if you zoom in, you can see that when we were there, they were having the Merlot almost ripened. So they're well known for their single vineyard kinds of Merlots, and it's really interesting to see, like, just a kilometer away, the vineyard has a totally different taste in the wine. So yeah, that's a little bit about where they're at. I think that Hillside is pretty special, being that A, they make 100% Naramata Bench grapes, so you really get to get a sense of what that place is all about. And B, they've been there since '84. So not only do they have amazing experience, but they have a prime spot of land, which they can ripen Syrah there, which is really rare this far north. But they do it.
I think that's where it starts, right? That's where it starts. This is the further north where you can ripen Syrah. And I would say the same thing with Malbec. Like nowhere in the northern part, and also it's on the west side of the lake, so they have the hot afternoon sun, so it helps. So if you go right across the lake where Summerland is on the east side, now you got the morning sun. That's why like wineries like Lunacense or Giant Head have amazing Pinot Noirs and Sauv Blanc and Chardonnays and that kind of stuff. Across the lake, that's where you got the heat, you got the sun. So now you can see the Merlots, like you just mentioned. They have like 3 different single vineyard Merlots. They also do some Malbec. They ripen some Malbec. Also the Syrah. So, but I will say, don't even try to ripen Syrah anywhere further north than that. That's where it starts. There's the crazy Sal D'Angelo right down the street from who's doing some cabs and is doing also some Tempranillo and all of that. And but yeah, that's where you can start to be adventurous. It starts on the bench, and after that you go further south. That's where it's the land of the big Bordeaux grape varietal. But yeah, so that's where we're at. It's the beginning of the big grapes. And Hillside, when Petra started the whole thing in 80, did you mention 87 or something like
84 was when they started it, I think.
84. And there's
one
something
of the first wineries, like really, that was one of the first wineries in BC.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And what do we have here in our glass tonight?
Oh, we've got the Muscat au Tonnelle. So what I want to do, I have some meatballs and a strawberry pie in the oven, so I have to go turn them off. But I want you to start talking about this Muscat because it's like our family staple favorite. My mom just ordered a case of them for Christmas. We love it. So tell us a bit more about this one, and I will be.
Well, let's go. And also, not only this is a staple in our family, this is the family wine. And let's go back to our roots. Let's go back to Mira's roots. Mira's she was born and raised in Romania. And so Mira's mom, she's from the border of Hungary and Romania. Sometimes it was called Romania, sometimes it was called Hungary. Anyway, no matter what, like long story short, she grew up on a Moscato Tonnelle vineyard. So the family had some vines, and it happened to be Moscato Tonnelle. And when we started to date, and we got married, and this and that, and Baba, how we called her, started to try to know a little bit more about what I was doing, and starting to talk about wine. And back then, I was a restaurant director, doing like building wine lists and all of that. And anyway, she started to talk about Moscato Tonnelle. So fast forward like 10 years later. Here we go. Here we are. We own the wine club, and we found like right early on, I knew that Hillside Winery was one of the only one, if not the only one, to have Moscato Tonnelle. And not only they have Moscato Tonnelle, they built their reputation on their Moscato Tonnelle, because Petra, who founded the winery long ago in '84, brought with her a vines of Moscato Tonnelle, and here she was, the only one in the country. Thank you so very much. Aha, glasses. Now I can see the comments. So yeah, the Muscat, and it became a staple because it grows so well in the home vineyard, on the bench. The freshness, the minerality, the uniqueness of the Muscat. There's 250 different type of Muscat around the world. So take that, sit on it, and think about that for a couple minutes. This is a shitload of different Muscat all over the world. But the Moscato Tonnelle is a one with the beautiful freshness, beautiful acidity, but also a nice, I would say, herbaceousness. And it gave the Muscat, this specific Muscat, such a unique flavor profile. When you bring that on the bench, where they're located, with this rocky moraine type of soil where they are located, Muscat absolutely shine. It became a staple. And now we had a lot of the 19
Okay, and then we tried the 20 recently. The 20 is what we're featuring in Carl's cellar. And oh my gosh, the 20 is, the 19 was good. We loved it. But the 20, I just adore the 20.
I think it's the best vintage of the Muscat that I can remember. Like it is by, not by far, because all of these vintage, they're very consistent. They always have their little, like some of the years they have a little bit more herbaceousness. Some of the years have a little bit more green apple. Some have a little bit more. But the 2020 is, to me, the best that I've tasted ever. I was like, oh my God. I think I give it a 92 points right off the bat. It might have been a 93 if I'm not mistaken. I have to.
I think it was 92. Don't get too excited. But it was really good. It was definitely one of those wines that I went, wow, getting a case of this one. Because we probably would, because we love this wine. But yeah, 92. See?
There you go. It's slightly off dry, but like when I thought, like it's an 8 gram of residual sugar. So when we talk so often, the cutoff is around the 12 gram of residual sugar to see like where the sweetness start to. But there's also the balance with the acidity and the pH in the wine. And this is very well balanced. There's that freshness, but the roundness of the 2020. It's more on orchard type of fruit. Peach, I would say like it would be like right in at the crossroad of something like maybe a skin contact Pinot Gris.
Yeah.
Bring in there a dry Riesling.
Yes.
And finish that off with the roundness of Viognier, or it's like something like that. There's that uniqueness. And like, yeah, a big, big winner. And when we're talking about Christmas right around the corner, this is a table, like a diner table favorite. It can goes with so many different things. With the grandma smoked ham, with the go ahead.
So I have to tell you what they paired this with. So last February, Carl and I did a Great Canadian Dinner Series in Calgary, where we lived at the time, with the Delta Hotel there. And a lot of members came to those. It was a lot of fun. And they did a whole dinner, 5 courses on Hillside wines. And we paired the Automnel with dessert, with a pudding chômeur. If you guys know what that is from Quebec, you'll know what I mean. And if you don't, make yourself a pudding chômeur soon, because it's the unemployed man's pudding. So it's very cheap and easy to make, but it's so delicious, with kind of a maple syrup kind of taste.
And that tells you that why we did that with the pairing. It's because it's sweet, like it's a caramel cake, like you soak cake in caramel basically. So you need something to balance that, because you can't go with something super sweet with that. So there's a
nice wine would be horrendous. That would not go well.
Yeah, and so the freshness of that was an absolute beauty of pairing. So that was awesome. Yeah.
I was.
But you can also pair that. You can also pair that at the opposite with appetizer. You can do that with like mini quiche or even seafood. How's that with seafood? With that bright minerality.
Say, so if I go back, do you remember this menu, Carl? It's kind of hard to see here, but we started that night with an Uno Pinot Gris with a prawn roll. Get this, okay? Chilled prawn, eclair with pickled apple and horseradish creme fraiche. So it looked like an eclair, but instead of like whipping cream, it had this horseradish creme fraiche with like diced up cold prawns and pickled apples on top. Holy cow, is that good? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Of course, they brought me like 3 of them. I ate them in one bite, and I'm like, can I have like 20 more?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So that's for the Moscato Tonel. That's the first one. Obviously, when we were chatting with Shalane, who is she's at the head of all the marketing team at Hillside, and we were planning the whole Carl Cellar concept, and she was the first one to jump, because guess what? Guess what's cool with Hillside? Hillside do not have any distribution distribution company anymore in the country. They do not have a company who distribute their wine. They do everything now direct to consumer. This is pretty darn cool. They're one of the first from Western Canada who don't do distribution anymore to liquor stores and this and that. They do everything direct to consumer. So this is pretty darn fantastic.
And they're a solid, established, amazing winery. And it's just so convenient. Now, that said, shipping prices have gone up and they've had to start charging some shipping. But until tomorrow morning, it's free shipping because it's the end of Cyber Week. So if you're thinking of getting something, I'll just put that little idea out there.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you
want to talk about next? This Viognier, since we're on whites?
Yeah, why not?
And after that, it's all reds that we picked from there. So
yeah, so and the cool thing that the way we set the pack there, it's not a set 6-pack. It's 8 selection. You pick and choose whatever you want. That's it. It's a make your own case, make your own. Like that's not, as long as it's 6 bottles or more, you build your own case. So I think it's a pretty cool concept. There is no here is a 6, here is a set pack, here is the bonus. No, pick and choose. It's up to you. Go nuts. And so yeah, so the Viognier has been also a part of the bench portfolio a lot. It's one of the great spots to grow Viognier. Probably the top spot in the country, in the Okanagan, because of the soil. If you go back all the way to the Rhone Valley, where Viognier is king in France, all you see like big pebbles in rocky vineyards and all that. That's the kind of vineyard you can find on the Naramata Bench, and Viognier grows extremely well there.
And we found out something really interesting when we visited the bench this week, and everything below the road, the Naramata Road, down to the lake, used to be part of a glacial lake, this massive glacial lake. So it's just full of pebbles and sand going down like kilometers. And everything kind of above the road is more rocky, but they usually plant below the road for that reason.
Yeah. So great, awesome geology. And yeah, that's what makes it consistently some great Viognier. I like the flowery aspect of the Viognier from the bench. I like the white spice at the end of the Viognier. Great wine for shellfish. Great wine for like a big halibut fillet or something with brown butter sauce. Like Viognier, to me, is very, very versatile. This is a 90 points, just under $30. I remember I made the clam and mussels, saffron seafood kind of risotto with it, and it was absolutely wonderful. So, yeah. So this is the 2 white. Moving on to the red, there's the very affordable Merlot Malbec. It's the everyday drinking Hillside staple. Then when they were like all over the liquor stores in BC, that's the one. So 68% Merlot, 32% Malbec. It's kind of funny when we say like this is one of their largest production. That's 575 cases. But yeah, this is quite kind of what it is. It's under 30. Really, really good value. It's a full body, definitely full body wine, a brand new release. You can get that on the grill with a meat. Yeah, it's a jack of all trade kind of a wine. So
love that one.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Like pretty much all the ones that we're featuring, we love them. That's why we're featuring them. You want to talk about?
That's the beauty with what we do, right? Like the wineries are never going to stuff something down our throat saying, oh, no, you need to feature that. If I'm not rating it over 89 points or something like that, it's just like, sorry, it doesn't go there. So that doesn't mean that if the wine were not on the upper are not good. But I tried to build the pack knowing what like that little Malbec, Merlot Malbec. It's the style of wine that we know that our members are looking for all the time. That under $30 red, who shows body, who shows character, who shows like personality. That's exactly. I remember like we tasted that wine over 2 days, like keeping going back on it, because like there was always a little bit more spice, a little bit more dark fruit. So it was super cool. So moving on to the next one now, we are on the this one is
Syrah.
the Syrah. A little bit. Go ahead.
Brand new, right?
Brand new. I think did it hit the market yet, or we're still the only one to?
I think that we might be the only ones doing the Viognier right now, but I think the Syrah is out. I think so.
Just been out anyway. 91 points. I thought that. So it's not the big juicy Black Sage Bench, spicy or Oliver, Golden Mile, heavier fruit. There's a freshness in there. It's the Bench. It's a little bit more like the Rhone Valley. It's a little bit more, and I might expect have a little. They may have a splash of Viognier in there, co-fermented in that vintage, maybe or maybe not. No, 100% sure, not in this one. It's 2018, but yeah. Classic white pepper at the end, classic roast smoked meat in the middle, classic blueberry jam type of in fruits. It's really like that's when, if you're not a fan of the bigger, heavier Syrah, if you're a fan of like a little bit like the Stag's Hollow type of Syrah, it's in finesse. It's more like a nice center of herbs, like fresh herb, like the thyme or maybe the basil, but I mean like thyme or rosemary coming in the middle, mid palate, maybe a little bit like mint chocolate in the middle. So really nice. A little bit like our friends Rob Hammersley before his 2019. 2019 from Rob at Black Market is a little bit bigger, bolder, but it's
also use fruits too that he uses, right? Not
soy fruit and a trend of what we're seeing from 2019 vintage. So now 2018 has his own little colder vintage. So it gives you spicy but elegance. So I like what we see. It's a 91 point here. So if you're a fan of Syrah, like low $30, the price is good. And yeah, we really like that one.
Totally. This is the Pinot Noir. Do you want to talk about that one real quick?
Big and bold. This is a juicy Pinot New World style. Like a little bit higher in alcohol. I will not be surprised. But wait a minute. Yes. Oh no. Okay.
You looking for the bottle? What are you looking for?
I was looking for the ABV, the alcohol level, but no, it's a 12.5. But they're bigger in fruit. It's a little jammier style of Pinot. Remember when we did our dinner? Like we paired that with dry beef.
Yeah, let me tell you what we paired it with, because oh my gosh, that was a crazy night.
That was my favorite pairing of the night, and I'm not typically always like.
So we paired it with smoked duck carpaccio. Alpine cheese, buttermilk, seed cracker, and fig puree. Jeez, that was good.
Yeah, absolutely. It was one of my favorite pairing.
Yeah. The duck. It was in a little like the duck carpaccio was in this little glass tube, right? It was pretty cute. Okay, you're making me hungry. So that's the Pinot Noir. A bigger, bolder Pinot Noir. That pairs great with duck carpaccio. There you go.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. 91 points, Carl's Wine Club. This one was a big winner as well. And I need to be sometimes massaged down, like when it's time of Pinot Noir, especially when we're talking about New World style. I was like, whoa, okay, this is really, really, really darn good. So
yes. Super awesome. Let's talk a bit about their Merlots, because we saw the grapes that they have at the beginning there. Their Merlots seem to ripen really well on their vineyards, and they have several distinct vineyards where they make single vineyard wines that are very different from each other. It's really cool to see that. So let's talk about their regular Merlot and then the
Hidden Valley.
Hidden Valley one. Yeah,
Hidden Valley.
yeah.
They also have the Dickerson Vineyard that we feature in the past. But I think what we have this time is the regular, right?
Oh, this is the this is the Merlot here. So yeah, this is the regular one, and then the Hidden Valley one is much smaller production, 168 cases.
Yeah, 168 cases. Really, 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 really tiny production. This one is a $24. This is their business card. This is their, here we are. Try us. You won't regret it. This is a nice, juicy Merlot. Remember at Merlot Day? Like at Merlot Day, this one was one of the top Merlot for the lowest price. Absolutely. Like I think it was a 91 point that I gave it at the Merlot Day. And it was like, yeah, juicy, a little bit more, yeah, there's juicy, but also like there's something unique with the bench is the herbaceousness or the fresh herbs that you find in the mid palate with a little bit of flower. There's a nice aspect in the middle palate. Spices there because of with the rocky soil. Spice is great. The oak is well integrated. There's nothing over oaky with that. It's just a little flash in barrel. Like I think that they probably do like 8 to 10 months. This is nothing over oaky, but great full body affordable wine. And I think that's the reason why I went with 91 points, because of the price point in the equation, make it absolutely appealing to have 2 or 3 bottles around the table for Christmas dinner or something like that. So, because to me, for our Christmas dinner, I can see 2 or 3 bottles of that, 2 or 3 cases of that, and your family.
The Muscat Automnel is around for sure, because my parents love to have a fish dinner every Friday and pair it with that Muscat.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so that's for the staple. That's for the Merlot, and now we're talking about single vineyard. This is the label of the single vineyards.
Okay.
So that's the Hidden Valley. So again, 91 points, more expensive. This is more precise. This is more focused. There's a little bit more new oak in there. It's now we're talking, I think, which vintage are we in of that? I think it's 2016, right? 2014. So now we're talking about like almost an 8-year-old wine, shining, absolutely priming at the moment. This is in its grace. Like it's graceful. It's complex. There's that minerality in that wine that is absolutely spectacular. So yeah, this is worth it. If you don't want to share, like if there's a small group or like some people who are a little bit more wino, this is the way to go. That's for sure.
That's probably one of my favorites from Hillside so far, because I've discovered I really like Merlot. And that one is a wonderful Merlot, as well as the $24 one we just talked about, just depending on what the occasion is, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like you don't serve these 2 wines in the same occasion.
That's right. And then we also have one more, which is the Mosaic. This is their flagship one, isn't it?
That's the flagship, right? So, and this is the rebrand now. We see that new label of the Mosaic, the Bordeaux blend. I think they have the selection of the 5 Bordeaux blend here in this one for the 2015 vintage. So again, back vintage, we have access to their library. This is a $50 wine, but this wine was 93 points by Wine and Line at some point. it went back in the library for a few years, and now they pulled a few cases for us. So this is a special one. This is the new old release, I guess. 54
I was gonna say,
Merlot.
should it say library release?
Yeah, it should.
Okay.
So yeah, so 54 Merlot, 16 Cab Sauv, 15 Malbec, 11 Franc, and 4 Petit Verdot. Bronze medal at the national. Yeah, so this is the Bordeaux blend, one of the most solid year in and year out from the blend. The Mosaic, it was 91 points, I think, that I gave it when we tasted it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And let me just go back to this menu, okay? Because I'm on food right now. I don't know if you guys are too. I don't know what part of the country you're in and whatnot. But where we are in BC, it's dinner time. And Hillside has that building we saw earlier. You know, here's our boy in front of it. And on the other side, sort of on the left there, if you go, they have a bistro. Well known for their bistro, great food. And so that's nice to know if you're ever traveling in that area. And also, we go back to our dinner series we did. Let's see here what else there was. So we did do not the 2015 Mosaic, but the 2014 Mosaic at this event. And we paired that with, Prairie Ranchers Braised Short Rib. Chive and cheese stuffed whipped potatoes, bone marrow, and shallot juice.
So you mentioned rosé. This is not a rosé. This is the Mosaic we're talking about.
I said the Mosaic.
No, you said rosé.
Oh, that's weird. I meant to say Mosaic.
Okay. Oh, maybe I heard rosé and you said Mosaic. Probably.
Yeah. What a glitch. Hopefully I didn't say rosé. Anyway. I thought I said the 2014 Mosaic, but we had the 2015 now.
Yeah, exactly. That's the new
2014. We paired it with the short rib, which was also heavenly. So yeah, just some ideas for y'all.
We need to stop talking about food. I am so hungry right now.
I think we're gonna go and get our dinner on. We got all our stuff keeping warm. And it's been so great to see you guys. Thank you for everyone that tuned in for the whole freaking week. Johan says I said Mosaic. Okay.
There you go.
I'm glad that I didn't just like have one of the, maybe I didn't get enough sleep or something.
It's just because I was cutting off at the same time. So probably Mosaic came out. Probably.
Yeah.
I just want to announce that we are not sending our weekly offer tomorrow. We are holding it until Wednesday morning. Just to give you guys a little break. But Wednesday morning, we're going to give you the big dog of the year. This winery that we've been waiting for that long.
I have some of the Sauv Blanc here in my glass. I was tasting the Muscat Automnal from Hillside, but now I've got the Sauv Blanc here. So what is this winery that you're talking about?
Cellar from Niagara on the Fairmont Creek appellation. This is the king of Cabernet Sauvignon Merlot in Canada. This guy, Adnan, is going to be live with us on Wednesday. We're going to have him talking about his transition to engineer to a winemaker. So to building a 40 acres winery, self-taught after retiring to be an engineer. This is a crazy story. An absolute pleasure to meet with him in September when I was there. And when we did the International Cabernet Sauvignon Day, his Cab Sauv by a mile was the best Cab Sauv in the lineup, over 22 Cabernet from over the country. Not only in my book, but also in because the day after we brought all the wines to a panel with other winemakers and people from the wine industry, and Cellar, people were like, Carl, what the heck is that? And like winemakers from BC couldn't believe it. People were betting money that there were appassimento fruit in there. So, and I was like, no, there's none. We have to put out the darn technical sheet. I had to call Anna. There's no one. Anyway, So Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot at Merlot Day, finishing the top 3. Why not? Like anyway, his lineup is absolutely off the chart. So we are excited. It's going to be more of a collector price point, in the sense that it's like the wines are all between $35 and $50. But if you want to treat yourself, if you want to make yourself a gift for someone that you know who's a big wino in your family, this is the way to go. We were excited. We've been waiting all year for that. We hold on to that one for you guys until Wednesday morning. So we're really, really excited.
Awesome. Well, that was awesome. Thank you, Carl Boucher. Thanks so much, you guys, for stopping by. Johan, Daryl, Ken. It's just so nice to see you guys. And thanks for coming all this week. Many of you were here, popping in and out of all these crazy lives we did, including the 4+ hours for Cab Franc Day.
Yesterday.
This week will be a little more mellow. We got the cool interview with Adnan from Ice Cellars on Wednesday night. We've got one more live at some point when part 2 of Cab Franc Day package arrives, which was held up in Edmonton due to natural disaster. And that's about it this week. Start to get a little quieter. It's starting to be close to Christmas. So
maybe the quiz will be out for all of everyone that we know. Well,
yes, we're working on a fun quiz to, help you kind of learn more about your wine style and potentially discover new wines based on our recommendations. So yeah, that's kind of what we're up to. So great to see you guys. Thank you. Bon appetit, Johan. If you've eaten, you're probably out east, I think.
Probably. So Canadian Wine Lovers,
we're about to eat. Cheers.
Carl's Wine Club members, all of you guys across the country, we want to say good evening or good night, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.